Happy Monday, homeschool mamas. This week, we're going to talk about realistic expectations. And I am the queen of unrealistic expectations. But I'll talk to you about that all this week. First and foremost, unrealistic expectation is that my kids are going to grow up and still want to stay home. Not experienced this more than once before. I've had one child graduate, but I have my second daughter graduating this week. And I must say, I'm a wee bit verklempt. This is tricky. My husband said, well, you can maybe do a 100-day countdown until she leaves to go to Toronto for ballet school. And I said, 100 days? So I said something to her about it's 100 days. And she said, no, Mom, it's 81. Okay. All I know is that when you get to this point, you really do believe in the days are short and the years are long, because it's going to be a hard week. It's going to be a hard few months, but it's also a beautiful few months because I celebrate the fact that she is at the point where she's ready to fly off, literally, and go do her thing. And I'm very proud of her, and I'm very thankful for the time that I can spend with her and have got to know her and help to encourage her and nurture her. And I'm really proud. So I'm going to share more with you this week about that, but it turns out it's an unrealistic expectation that when you parent, you're going to keep them home forever. Yep, that's one of them, but there are so many reasons to have unrealistic expectations, aren't there? We were talking about it over the Tea with Me portion of Sunday, and I don't know about you, where your unrealistic expectations lie. For me, they had to do with, can I find like the perfect curriculum for all 4 of my children? And can we do it all in 4 hours max in a day? And could we also include kids that enjoyed it? Didn't argue or complain or look at you sideways or roll their eyes or argue or complain. Did I say complain? Could we all put things away and keep things clean and happily join in tidying time? No? Unrealistic? How about adding a homestead, building a house, traveling around the world, and everybody should just do everything on cue? Write a book, start a coaching homeschool program. Yeah, that's me. So you can hear why I'm the queen of unrealistic expectations. What's your reason for being unrealistic in your homeschool? Here are 5 thoughts that I've had about actually practicing realism, not the art, but the art of human interaction, being realistic with our homeschool expectations. Everything doesn't have to be pretty. I like pretty. It's pretty clear. I like pretty. We all like pretty. We like flashing or tapping through on our Instagram pages and seeing all the lovely chalkboards and all the different ideas that homeschool families have. And they are beautiful and I love them. And it is not always clean and it is not always pretty. And everything doesn't get completed the timing or on the timing that you would expect to have it. Everything is not always happening the way that you wanted. You also can't do everything. You can pick and choose all sorts of things, but if I am looking back at my 18-year-old daughter's education, I can see that she got a boatload of learning opportunities over the last number of years, but she doesn't know everything. She's not in competition with Google or God, and that wasn't the point. So it's okay. You can't do everything. Everyone won't get along. Okay. Truth be told, between you and me, I think I'm still trying to make that happen. And I'm all about teaching family harmony, and that being the ultimate goal is relationship. But some days I just want a break, and it would be nice if people would just get along. Amen? Okay, reality check. That's probably one of the biggest reasons that they're in a family is because they have stuff to learn. Ditto for us. So they are not always going to get along. That's just not the thing. Lesson number 3, some days your day will feel like it's hijacked. Now, some days it feels like it's hijacked because of that exact last point, that the kids aren't getting along and you just have to surrender things and let things go. But there's a lot of reasons why it might be hijacked, because unlike the school scenario, where there are reasons that school can be shut down. In fact, my high school daughter's school was closed today because of severe vandalism, apparently. That was very sad to hear. But there are reasons why maybe your days can be hijacked in a school, but in a homeschool, there are a million reasons. And it could have to do with an entire 4-liter of orange juice falling on the floor, or it could do with maybe a neighbor asking for help, or somebody's emergency in the family, or you had an argument with your husband and you just don't have the emotional wherewithal to keep going. There's so many reasons why you could be hijacked, but just know this, you will be hijacked. There will come a day, if not many days, sometimes even weeks, where it feels like your homeschool has been hijacked. And that is real. The fourth lesson I've learned is you can have an emotional atmosphere that needs to be attended to sometimes. What I mean, okay, I'll be clear. Our emotional atmosphere, ours as moms. Some days we wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Or we wake up with premenstrual syndrome. Or we wake up unwell. Or we don't know why we wake up feeling the way that we wake up, but we just don't feel good. It's okay. We cannot always show up the way that we would ideally like to show up on the perfect day. Yeah, of course, that's the goal. And I'm not saying that we shouldn't be moving towards growth. That's my base assumption, that is what we're doing. But we need to be able to give ourselves grace and say that some days we're just off and we're going to have a backup plan. And I don't know about you, but my backup plan is usually to buckle down and get a little bit more controlling with whatever we're doing and say, okay, this day, even though it sucks and everything is going sideways, we definitely have to finish the stuff. That's probably not the plan. Not probably the best thing. And yes, lots of grace during this past year. Yeah, a whole different level of it. Lesson number 5, you have relationships that might need tending to. Sometimes our unrealistic expectations in our homeschool are there because that's the area that we feel like we're able to control, because other relationships that we have aren't feeling really good. And so we're not able to control our relationship with our sister or our mom or a friend or a partner, and we feel like it's a little out of whack. So we try to take control over the one that we can, or we think we can. And that is in our homeschools and the relationships with our kids and the things that they're doing. And yet reality is we have to sometimes accept that we have to allow the effort or the energy of the day to go towards that relationship. And what can you do to help maybe mend that relationship or grow in that relationship so that you can have a more harmonious atmosphere or background for your homeschool, for your kids. So there are some really random things that you might not have thought that I would give you to lower or alter your expectations of your homeschool. But in my experience, the biggest components of your homeschool, though it appears to the public as it's about an academic thing or it's about a social opportunity, it's actually about how you are dealing with your stuff, how you're relating to other people, how you feel in it all, and how you're factoring in all the realities of the real family life. I'd love to hear more of your tips, so put them down below, the things that you would say to other homeschool moms, how to alter or lower your expectations. And are you going to have to do this more than once? Literally on repeat, on repeat, over and over and over. The goal isn't about perfection. It's about relationship, and it's about enabling them to have an education that is ideal for them. And it's accepting the fact that life is messy, family is messy, our realities are messy, incomplete, imperfect, but also perfectly imperfect. Does that make sense? Like, I don't even know if that phrase really makes sense, but it makes sense, doesn't it? So it's our big messy reality. Let me know if you are interested in a discussion on more of this, because I've got this in my Homeschool Mama retreat. But I really want to hear more about your tips that you would share. I'm hoping tomorrow that I'm going to be chatting at 11 a.m. Pacific Standard Time live about unrealistic expectations. So I'll talk to you soon. Have a good day.